enough to become our genius.
Hello and good day, pre-algebra. We are recording, which means that you are on this Monday coming back to it. We're going over PO9, which is, again, with integers and fractions, but instead of focusing on addition and subtraction, we've got multiplication and division. And you'll notice this is a kind of much shorter question page, much smaller chart than we had at PO8. This is a theme that you're going to see throughout pre-algebra into algebra. There are actually fewer rules for multiplying and dividing things than there are for adding or subtracting them. Even though you learn addition and subtraction first, it's almost, quote unquote, easier to multiply and divide because there are fewer things to remember, particularly with fractions. Okay? You still have the rules, you still have some things to follow, but it's less intimidating, it's less quantity than it is to add and subtract. And so we're just filling out this chart here, focusing on integers. And again, key point, you can go on a help sheet. When you multiply or divide a positive by another positive, what will the sign of your solution be? Positive. Okay? When you first learned how to multiply and divide, you did it with positive numbers only, such as 32 divided by 4. What's 32 divided by 4? 8. Positive 8, right? Those math facts that you started getting drilled in your head in 3rd grade and 4th grade and hopefully have a good handle on by now. Okay? If you, however, have a positive multiplied or divided by a negative, what's the sign of your answer going to be? A positive times or divided by a negative. And this is a new, Schleifer? Negative. Does the math fact change? And what I mean by that is, like in this first one, 8 times negative 3. If you know what 8 times positive 3 is, 24. Is 8 times negative 3 is the fact difference? No, it's still 24. It's just recognizing that because you've got one positive and one negative, it's going to be a negative 24. Right? And the same is true if you have a negative multiplied or divided by a positive. Okay? These two are very much connected in that if your signs are different, doesn't matter which one comes first. If your signs are different, your answer is going to be a negative value. Okay, so here it was 8 times negative 3. The next example we have here, negative 10 times 6. Remember, just parentheses mean that you are multiplying, right? But what's 10 times 6? 60. So negative 10 times 6, negative 60, right? Doesn't matter if the sign comes first or second. If it's a positive times a negative or negative times a positive, it's going to be a negative value. Okay? Our last combination is a negative multiplied or divided by a negative. And it turns out these two are related as well. What's a negative multiplied or divided by a negative? What sign will it be, Aiden? It'll be a positive. And I think this is where some folks were kind of getting caught up with the addition and the subtraction. You know, like there's one on the homework check. It was negative 19 minus 7. And the answer was negative 26. A number of people put positive 26 as an answer. With addition and subtraction, if they're both negative, it doesn't guarantee you're going to have a positive number. Right? It's not the same rule here. Addition and subtraction, you're starting at negative 19. You're subtracting 7, you're getting more negative. Whereas for multiplication and division, as long as they're both negative, it's going to always be a positive. Here's an example here. Negative 36 divided by negative 6. If you know what 36 divided by 6 is, 6, the fact doesn't change. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. When another teacher walks in the room, you have to be like really,
really enthusiastic.
Yeah.
He's failing as a teacher right now.
Oh, this is a friend too.
Failing.
I don't know how to edit these videos. Okay, so negative 36 divided by a negative 6 is going to be a Positive 6. Positive 6. A negative multiplied or divided by a negative is a positive. Now, just predict here, am I going to allow you to use a calculator on this section of the test?
No.
No. Absolutely not. Okay? I'm not testing whether or not you can push buttons in a particular order, right? This chart can go on a help sheet, okay? All of the facts are going to be basic facts that you should know coming from 3rd grade, 4th grade, and so on and so forth, okay? If you want to make and write a multiplication chart on your help sheet, you're able to do that, but you'll not have a calculator to use on this part of the test, okay? Questions on integers? Okay, fractions. The good news about multiplying and dividing fractions, do you need common denominators? No, thank goodness. Okay, who remembers what is the process, what is the rule? We'll start with multiplying for multiplying fractions. James.
You just convert straight, add straight, multiply straight across.
Straight across.
If it's a mix now, you just.
Yep.
You do the thingy with the mix.
10 times 3, 9 times 5. Don't worry about common denominators, anything like that. What is 10 times 3? 30. What is 9 times 5? 45. What sign will our fraction have? Negative. And you know that because the same rules apply. We have a negative fraction times a positive, so it's going to be a negative 30/45. Nora. Okay, I'll come back to you there. Are we done though? Is this a final answer?
No.
Why not, Aiden?
You have to simplify and then you go down.
You do need to simplify.
And you did 6 nines.
In this case, so if you divide by 5, you get 6 over 9, but that's not far enough, right? Because 3 goes into 6 and 9 also. 15 is a GCF of 30 and 45, so that's what you should ultimately divide by and get negative 2/3 as an answer. If you went to 6/9 first, that's okay, but then you got to go further down to 2/3 as a final answer. Right? Let's do another multiplication one. Let's do this one here. Let's all do it together. 9/4 times 5/12. Make sure you simplify when you are done. What's that?
Could you do the second one?
What's your help on that one? So while you're doing this, the second one there, you do need to convert this to an improper fraction first. Okay? So what is this as an improper fraction? 19 ninths. So then you got 19 ninths times 5 ninths. You are multiplying fractions, so multiply straight across, just like in the first one. Okay? And just like you are hopefully doing down here at the bottom. So 9/4 times 5/12, we're going straight across. 9 times 5 is 45. 4 times 12 is 48. How does 45/48 simplify to be? What can you divide 45 and 48 by? False. It does have a common factor. Yeah. 3. 3 goes into both 45 and 48. So you divide by 3, divide by 3, and 15/16 would be your final answer. All right? But how to get there, starting there, right? Multiplying straight across. Nora, talk to us about dividing fractions. Let's go to let's start with this 9/10 divided by 8/7 here. Tell me what you like to do to divide fractions.
You switch the numerator and the denominator first.
Not the first,
The second.
the second, right? Yeah. So the little secret about dividing fractions is we don't actually divide them. We rewrite it, or we use a method, so we end up multiplying. Because 9 divided by 8 doesn't work out evenly. 10 divided by 7 doesn't work out evenly. That's a problem. So one option is to take that second fraction and you flip it. Okay? Instead of 8/7, it becomes 7/8. And you rewrite the problem as multiplying fractions instead. Because you can multiply straight across. 9 times 7 works out evenly. 10 times 8 works out evenly. Right? So we don't actually divide here because of that issue. We rewrite it as multiply. And what do we get? 9 times 7 is 63. 10 times 8 is 80. 63 80ths. Nothing goes into both 63 and 80 other than 1, so we're not going to simplify. What's the other method? This is one option. What else do you remember from last year? What else can you do?
9 times 7 is 35. Oh, wait. Okay, my bad, guys. I thought it was.
Would you like to sing
No.
the Whoopsie-Doo song?
No, I know what that is.
The Whoopsie-Doo is the song that I like to sing whenever I make a Whoopsie-Doo. And if why did I make a Whoopsie-Doo?
But Jillian made it.
No.
I offered, she didn't want to. That's
So do it
that's
for
okay.
her. Because she doesn't
No, it's not my Whoopsie-Doo.
Can you
Do
teach
that.
us?
If I make a Whoopsie-Doo, you call me out on it, and then I will sing the Whoopsie-Doo song.
Deal.
I bet you do that.
Nora, cross products. Okay, and cross product in the name is product, right? Cross products is yet another way to multiply something, right? Cross products means you take the numerator of one and multiply it by the denominator of the other. Notice we still end up multiplying 9 by 7, right? If we flip that second fraction and multiply the fractions, now we're going straight across. The 9 and the 7 are lined up. If we use cross products, we multiply the 9 numerator by the denominator 7, okay? It's still going to give us 63 as a numerator. And then we multiply the denominator, that 10, by the numerator 8. It still gives us 80 as a denominator in our answer, right? So either way, you end up doing the same math. It just depends on, does it make more sense to you to flip it and then multiply straight across, as we did here, or use cross products, multiply in that cross X-like fashion. Either way, we don't actually end up dividing. It's multiplication through and through. Okay. As we talked about, mixed numbers, make sure you convert them to improper fractions first. Pay attention to signs. If you have a negative fraction times a positive, that chart on the top of the page is going to be your guide. Okay, as far as what the sign is going to be. Only this first page, only page 20, due tomorrow. There will be a homework check on it, but again, only page 20. Don't worry about the work problems. We'll tackle that tomorrow. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, comments, congratulations, criticisms on this? James.
Can you just sing it?
Yeah, just sing it for
do it.
I didn't make Whoopsie-Doo.
The line on the scoreboard.
You were
That-
born.
Well, that I already sang it for that.
You are
Just sing
Yeah.
the Whoopsie-Doo song.
No.
You made a
No.
Whoopsie-Doo by
Actually,
not
my
singing
geometry
the
class
Whoopsie-Doo
did
song.
because they already know about the song. 7th grade did.
Okay, wait. Say that. Answer this.
You
Mr.
didn't
Schultz.
shave
Yeah.
this morning. That's
Alright,
what
hold
we
on.
Yeah, you made a Whoopsie-Doo by not
That's so
singing.
mean.
Sing it.
All right, folks, that's our math.
Don't forget to like and